Hi, you guys. I'm Luandra Jacobs, and I'm here with my co-host Tanya Boysen, and we're shooting part 2 of 9 to 5 to the dance floor with Kgothatso Lebeko.
Hi,
Yes,
guys.
yes.
Hey! So today we're here with Kgothatso and we're going to talk about his dance style and we're going to take a look into the dance. Okay.
Pleasure.
So, in your previous interview, you said you are a programmer by day, right?
Yes.
So, and then a dance instructor over the weekends. What made you decide that I enjoy being a dance instructor? This is what I want to do.
So, being a dance instructor, actually, I started when I was in varsity, and honestly, it was at the time it was a means of making income because I was a student. As much as my parents gave me allowance and money for groceries, there was obviously wanting to have my own money. So, one of my friends at the time had a mentor that taught him how to dance, and he reached out to him and he wanted to start a studio. So that started the process, but that fell through unfortunately. But through that process, he got me a teaching gig in Hartsfontein, which I think this was in 2013 or so. I had no idea what I was doing as an instructor because I think at that time I had never really been in a structured teaching environment. So I was learning really from the ground up how to teach, being mindful of students, and I think from there it's something that I just kept doing and I kept getting better at, and seeing some of my students improve over the years also just it became another form of a passion outside of just the dance itself, but the actual teaching itself became a passion as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And what style of dance do you teach?
So I teach popping. What popping is, for those who don't know, it's a style that's very centered around muscle control. So using music, because obviously dance is on music, you show the different sounds of the music using your muscle control. So tensing and releasing your muscles according to a beat sequence, usually on the bass and the snare. But obviously the more you learn how to use it, the more complicated it can get, so to say, or the more you can do with it, depending on the music that you're using or the music that you're dancing to that specific
So
time.
basically it's like a nice, enjoyable, intense exercise.
No, definitely. I think especially the process of practicing and training, it allows you to understand your body better. So even when I teach popping, I don't necessarily teach popping for dancers to become poppers, but simply for them to understand their body better, because there's I think it's one style that, again, like I mentioned, because it uses muscle groups and learning how to control those on the music, it allows you to understand your body better in terms of muscles that you wouldn't necessarily have to focus on in any other style. Now you're forced to target those specific muscles, and then that process of learning that allows you to apply the same with any other style. So you learn that, okay, cool, when I'm doing hip hop, for instance, there's a lot of movement in my knees. When I want to control my movement better, or better movement of my legs, my lower limbs, I kind of start thinking about, okay, which muscles am I actually using when I'm bouncing? And if I want to look smoother, even with things like a moonwalk, it's muscle control. It's all in your muscles, and understanding how your body works and which muscles you use and when you use them and how you use them.
Was it self-taught or did you have a dance instructor that taught you popping?
So I think for the most part of my dance journey, I was self-taught until I got to varsity in, I think, around 2012, if not 2013 as well. I went to workshops. I went to Shuba's workshops. So from there, Shuba decided to kind of take me in under his wing, and he started training me and he started teaching me everything I know where popping is concerned. Because before I was creative and I had an idea of how the movement looked, but there's certain technique that you need to be able to do and understand in order to do the style properly. So he taught me that, so combination of self-taught as well as trained by Shuba.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So, what specific? I think you did touch on this, but what specific movements are involved in this popping?
So there's within popping, because I think popping is globally kind of known as an umbrella term, which the term or umbrella term simply means that there's other styles that fall within popping. So popping itself is the actual contracting and relaxing of the muscles, and then where movement is concerned, there's different styles. There's boogaloo, there's toy man, there's animation, there's botting. Some of these styles you'll actually recognize from movies where in movies like Step Up, where the guy's moving like a robot, Mad Chad, that forms a part of popping. So where movement is concerned, it really depends on the type of style that you lean towards. I think personally when I started, because I enjoyed waving so much, it was easy for me to learn popping and associate it with a style called puppeting, which is pretty much imitating a puppet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think this whole popping thing came about from You Got Served? Because I think that kind of made popping popular at that time.
So I think
Or was it before?
it was definitely before. It was
that
definitely
movie?
before. So
Yeah.
popping in and of itself started in the late 70s.
Okay.
And over the years, even before You Got Served, there were movies that used elements of popping. Even Michael Jackson, known as the King of Pop, it's not only musically, the style that he was doing is popping.
Yeah.
His dances, the people that trained him in dancing were actual poppers. So popping has been around for quite a while. I think with most dance styles, there's a gap where there's moments of trend and then there's moments of gap. And I think each era and each generation has a trend or something that will popularize it. For us, or for me, let me rather say, I think dance as a whole got popularized by You Got Served.
Yeah.
And then popping itself, I think I would say Step Up, because I hadn't seen it commercially before Step Up. I'd see it because I was into battles. I was into dancing. I would see it in battles, and that's how I saw what popping was. But commercially, I definitely remember it from Step Up more than anything.
Okay.
So, what type of music goes with popping?
So because of the era in which popping was created in the late 70s, it was the music that they played then in the clubs, or the music that was very popular, was funk. So even with popping, essentially the music that you would practice to really get an essence of what the style is itself is funk music. So your James Brown, your Earth, Wind and Fire, that is the music that you would really use for popping. Again, this is to get the essence of it in terms of where it started, but I think over the years the music that people pop to has changed, has evolved as well. So as much as there's funk, there's also electro funk, where now people add more elements of electronic music into funk.
Yeah, good. So are you going to show us some dance moves?
Well, I mean, I don't know, are you guys ready to learn some dance moves?
Yes, we want to.
As long as I don't look. Yeah, it's fine. We can
No, we have to. We have to.
Okay, awesome. Then we can get right into it.